What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, no hate. Now, some of the family had some concerns about Anthony Joshua's foot speed, his hand speed, and his stamina. And okay, let me tell y'all what I saw. I agree with those comments and those concerns, but in the sense of if it really is going to help AJ to actually lose weight, okay, um, that's something that we can't say that's a fact. It seems like the logical thing to lose weight. Everybody said when he fought Ruiz, oh, you can see that he lost weight. He's moving a lot better, and um um he doesn't look tired. Okay, first off, in the fight with Ruiz, the rematch. Now, if you think about that, right? He fought on the back foot. And of course, you got to be in shape. It takes stamina for you to move all night long. He moved the move. He boxed. He jabbed. He threw his. He fought the way he did, and he won the fight. And no, he didn't look tired in the fight. Okay, there's always a time when you're gonna feel tired, even if it doesn't really show. But you're always gonna feel tired at some point in the fight, even when you still have the energy to go. Okay, heavyweights are not known for throwing a lot of punches. The heavyweight limit is max is like what 35, 40 punches around. They're not known for throwing a whole lot of punches around. Look at Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao's a welterweight. How many fighters do you know that throw 100 punches around? Paul Williams is for a while was throwing certain fights threw 100 punches around. The majority of his punches were slaps, 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 slaps. Margarito had a high punch output. Slaps, slaps. Margarito wore you down. He wasn't such a hard puncher. Margarito wasn't a big punch at all. He had sloppy, slow feet, but he would walk you down just constantly, just throwing, throwing. Look at Jarrell Miller. He don't have a high punch output, but Jarrell Miller is damn near 300 pounds. He just comes forward, comes forward, comes forward with that weight. You know, um, look at Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce, as far as I'm concerned, has the best stamina in the whole heavyweight division, and he's like 260. So it's not always a weight thing. And I'll tell you that. See, people say that about AJ. Any muscular fighter, okay, and they know that AJ lifts weights. I lift weights. Okay, I'm 247. I walk around like 251, 252. I don't need to go down to 230, 235. I don't. I'm not AJ. I don't know exactly what he does in his training. When I used to jog with this guy back in the day, he used to run track, okay? And I never had stamina issues. There's never, at no point have I ever had stamina issues. I could fight all night long. And we did this, we trained for 22 rounds. 20, we don't, let's, don't put a limit on. Let's just keep going, keep going. Forget sparring five different people for 12 or no. Let's just keep going. So we had this whole like really push yourself past the limits of a 12 round or a 15 round fight. That was the mindset. Keep pushing. And I watched certain fighters that never looked like they would get tired. Even though they get tired. And the whole thing was I kept pushing, I kept pushing, I kept pushing. Now, the jogging thing, what was funny was this. For like a year and a half, me and this guy would jog all the time. He's my running buddy, right? We would start out the run. Didn't matter if we started out slow, faster, sped up. It didn't matter. When I would get to the point where not even telling myself, let me slow down, just you start slowing down because you're getting tired. He would just keep going, same pace, and he'd be gone. I would always finish the run. I never stopped. Even if I felt like, man, it's like my heart about to come out my chest. It didn't matter. I wouldn't stop. I'd keep going. I'd finish the run. We used to do 3, 5, 7, 10-mile runs. And this went on for like a year and a half, man. That this guy would do this shit, man, and like I'm like, how the hell is he doing that, man? Like, and I'm not tying this into boxing. Like, I'm. This is for me. I'm looking at the running aspect of it. Like, wow, how the hell does he do this? Because he's like he don't get tired. And this went on like, and we're going, and then all of a sudden one day we're running, and he starts speeding up, and I sped up with him, and it's like, boom, same thing. We going, and we sprint, boom, 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 finish the whole run. And then it was like a delayed reaction. I'm like, oh shit, yo, like I finished the whole run with this dude, like at the same speed. Like now my confidence is like, oh, wow, like okay, I felt that sense of accomplishment. Now, when I hit the bag, I do this right now. I don't do it by rounds. What I do is I'll set my clock for 60 minutes. So all I do is I have a marker on my timer. So the 60 seconds that I should be resting, I don't rest. I just keep going. Boom, boom. I'm hitting the bag. Boom, I'm hitting the bag. I'm hitting the bag. I'm hitting the bag. Right? I'm hitting the bag. And then I'm doing my shadow body. I'm moving. I'm slipping. I'm doing my thing. Pivoting, doing all that same shit I did you do in the fight. Boom, and I'm throwing my shots. And I'm hitting the bag. Even when it gets to the 60-second mark where I should be resting, I don't just stop hitting the bag. I keep going. Okay, I've always done that. It takes years of you conditioning your body to get to the point where you're just like a workhorse, nonstop, nonstop, nonstop. The same guy that was outrunning me all that time, he can't do that same thing on the bag though. He can't do the other things that I do in the gym. But it's just that running aspect. He just had it. Like now, I never lost my touch with everything because I keep doing the same things. The whole point in that was I didn't have to outrun him. I just had to complete the run. That's what it was with me. But it was getting on my nerves. The fact, like, damn, why is it that I can't, so I kept pushing myself so I could do that run at whatever pace I wanted to. You understand what I'm saying? So if I wanted to push, but I'm like, I can't push, I'm tired. Now I know I can. My conditioning improved, put it that way. So I don't know what AJ does. I mean, I see him doing different things in training, but I don't know how hard he pushed himself. I don't know like what's his threshold of pain of, all right, I can do this. I can like have you did, okay, I'm running 3 miles. Now all of a sudden 3 miles is easy. Now let's take it up to 5 miles. Boom, 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 boom. Now the 5 miles is easy. Let's take it. I don't know how he's trained. I don't know if he's pushing himself that way. The thing with guys that are muscular that lift weights, most of the time they focus more on weightlifting than they do cardiovascular work. And that's why they have an issue with stamina. We never heard people saying Ken Norton had stamina issues. They said it about Evander Holyfield. He was only 205 pounds. He wasn't even a big heavyweight. So when you look at certain people and you think that it's because of muscles, that's not always the case. Look, we always looked at James Toney and said when he became a heavyweight, really he started the cruiserweight division, when he became a cruiserweight, but especially when he went to the heavyweights. We always said if he got in better shape, if he would really condition himself, he'd be that much more dangerous because he had all the skills in the world. And look at guys like Greg Page, Tony Tubbs, Buster Mathis Jr. Look at guys like that. Like I said earlier, look at Jarrell Miller. These guys are big and fat, and they can go 12 rounds. I don't think AJ looked slow. He had times in the fight where he was throwing some quick shots, You know, he's able to move and get out the way. He was never in danger in that fight. Never in any. He was never. No harm was done to him. So I think maybe too, he was fighting in a way to the level of his competition in that fight. That could have been that, like in terms of how he moved, and it's not always about certain things we see. We say, you know what, he need to do this and he need to do that. Oh, I can see he can improve on this and that. And again, because he lifts weights and we know he does, he's naturally a big dude. He's 6'6". So he probably walks around like 250 or something like that, right? So he's cutting weight to come down. So when he fought Andy Ruiz, what was he, like 238 or something like that? And he came in his fight, what, 245 or something like that. So I don't know, man. I see. I can't gauge that just because he lift weights and because people thinking like, oh, it's because of the muscle. Joe Joyce is what, 6'5", 6'6". Joe Joyce is 260 pounds. The weight ain't got nothing to do with it all the time. See, this is what I'm saying. I can't say it's the weight. I can't say what's a comfortable weight for him. I can't look at his height and say, oh, because he's 6'6", he should be fighting at 230, 230. I can't say that. I don't know that. Look, you know, you have certain people. You have a guy 5'7", right? That guy can be, and the doctor will say, this guy is the perfect weight for his height, and he eats healthy, he exercises, and all of that, right? Then you have another guy, same exact height, right? But this guy could be 5'7", 190, and they'll say, man, you're 25 pounds overweight, right? Or you're 35 pounds overweight, you're 30 pounds overweight, and you need to eat healthier. That same person that they talking about, that's saying overweight, okay, he can literally be 90, 95, 100. The guy that eats healthy and all of that and maintains his weight and all that might die at 60. What happened, right? So we can't always just gauge because someone looks like they're tired or they you think that it's stamina issues because of their weight. That's not always the case, but that's always what people seem to think because that's been the narrative for the longest. But then it's like you got to look and think. Whatever he's doing in his training, maybe the condition he's in, I mean, if his put it like this, if his condition improves, it has improved. Let's be real. It has improved. Those same combinations that he was throwing at Pulev, when he threw them same combinations at Klitschko, he was gassed to the point he couldn't even get out the way of shots no more. He was just ducking, moving his head down. He couldn't even slip the shots. It's not until he got dropped, when he got up, your adrenaline kicks in. He knows, like, okay, I just got dropped. Remember, Klitschko came in, boom, he slipped, threw another jump, boom, slipped. So he was there. He went down from exhaustion more than anything else. The shot landed flush, but he was exhausted. So when he went down, it was like, okay, he got up, he had his mind together. If you look at, you know, where the fight was stopped, the first Ruiz fight was stopped in the 7th round, so we don't know how things would have went if it would have went 12 rounds. So there's no need to imagine. But if you look at the second fight where he fought on the back foot pretty much all night, and you know he's throwing his shots, he never looked gassed. You know, when he looks tired, just like any fighter looks tired from just the fatigue from the fight, you'll get your second win. But when you get gassed, like, yo, I'm throwing all these shots, and like, man, I can't throw no more. Remember Holyfield versus Riddick Bowe 3? When he had dropped, well, he had the flu in that fight, and, you know, had some other stuff. But remember when he dropped him? And when Bowe got up, and Bowe was pretty much was out on his feet, and Holyfield couldn't punch anymore. Now, that's how Anthony Joshua looked against Klitschko. He threw punches and got to the point he punched himself out. What I saw against Pulev, He controlled the distance with his jab. Pulev couldn't get in. Pulev had to lunge to get in. He couldn't get them quick steps to get in and work his way in, like the commentators kept saying, because he kept getting hit coming in, and he wasn't comfortable. Okay. Because AJ was never in any danger in the fight, maybe he didn't pick it up to the point where all his punches just crisp and fast. He's fast on his feet all the time. Maybe it was because of that. Sometimes people fight to the level of their competition. Sometimes people, a different opponent, bring a different thing out of you. Okay, remember when Holyfield fought Michael Moorer? Holyfield was what, 209 in that fight, something like that. He was, you know, Holyfield was always a small heavyweight for the era he fought in. Holyfield, I felt like the difference between him and Michael Moorer was because he was tougher than Michael Moorer. And also he could throw rapid fire combinations when he wanted to, and Moorer couldn't. So Holyfield had his second and third gear. Michael Moorer has one gear. That was the difference. Holyfield dropped him. First time he dropped him was a quick pop, pop. You know what I'm saying? And he went down, but he got back up. He knocked him down 5 times in that fight. Remember when Michael Moorer fought George Foreman? What did George hit him with? 2. Boom, out. Holyfield was dropping dude, and dude was hurt. When he was dropping, it wasn't no flash knockdowns. He was hurt. But he kept getting up. He didn't get up when George hit him with 2. What I'm saying is Holyfield hit him with a whole lot more shots than George did. And look at what happened, right? Now, think about this. If Evander Holyfield would have threw those type of shots more often throughout the fight would have been over sooner as far as I was concerned, because Moorer couldn't handle that. Now, here's the thing about Holyfield. People at one point was questioning his conditioning, but then they was also saying he was probably the most well-conditioned fighter in boxing. They said the same thing about Roy Jones. They said the same thing about Mayweather. But also understand, it's your shot selection, it's your ring generalship, it's everything. It's how you throw your shots. See, Anthony Joshua has, he don't have that. He has that pop pop. He don't have that rapid fire shit. He has quick hands when he wants to. He has quick feet when he wants to. He doesn't have just natural speed. He has that, it's okay, I gotta remember to throw my shots quick. It's not second nature to him. It's part of his, okay, throw fast, remember to be fast, okay? You don't have to tell Ali to be fast. You don't have to tell, Mike Tyson to be fast. You don't have to tell Evander Holyfield to be fast. It was just naturally there. Now, when you get to a point where your skills start to deteriorate, that's something different. Now, at 30 years old, most people, your body start to gain weight. Maybe Anthony Joshua can't get down to 235 comfortably. He's probably one of those guys that might be 235 at the weigh-in, and then fight night, he's 248, 250. He might be one of those guys. I don't know. But Joe Joyce, like I said, is 260, and he's 6'5", 6'6", and this dude, stamina is incredible. I don't know what Joe Joyce did outside of boxing, but he probably does things differently from what boxers do, but so does AJ. Everybody's not the same. So, look, Lennox Lewis, we've seen him get tired. But Lewis could box too. Lewis stuck behind that stick. He knew when to get on his toes. He knew when to move. Before he got with Emmanuel Stewart, Lennox Lewis was just trying to knock everybody out. And Lennox Lewis would get tired, and you see him sucking for wind. When he got with Emmanuel Stewart, he learned to get behind that stick. Look, think about this. When he got knocked out by Oliver McCall, he was winning that fight, right? Got caught with a shot. Came back in the rematch, did what he had to do. It was a short night. So we don't know what would have happened if the fight would have went longer. We don't know. It wasn't a condition or stamina thing, right? No, he just got caught. Same with Hasim Rahman. But my point was he had a different motivation in those rematches. That's what I'm saying. Not so much a stamina thing, but the way he approached the fight. AJ knows he can fight on the back foot. He has a great jab now. He's working behind that jab. He's shooting it to the body. He's consistent with it. He's putting it out there. He's working off the jab. I saw him doing this against Pulev. I seen him mature. I seen him evolving as a fighter. So maybe, look, Joe Joyce is not the fastest guy in the world either. It's constant pressure. They have two different fight styles. But at the same time, Joe Joyce is a guy who knocks guys out that has much faster hands than he does. And how does he do it, right? Joe Joyce is a guy. Look, there's guys that, Joe Joyce himself says he knows he's a slow. He's not gifted with speed, but hey, I'm able to get the shots there. And when I look at Anthony Joshua and how I like what I saw against Pulev, and I get what you guys are saying about his stamina and the hand speed and the foot speed. That you like to see him faster on his feet and throwing faster shots, and his stamina can improve. I agree if he can, but that's the thing. Some people they are what they are. But why I'm using Lennox Lewis as an example is because, look, Evander Holyfield was faster than Lennox Lewis. Wasn't as powerful, wasn't as big, but he was definitely faster. Lennox Lewis knew how to work off of his jab. He learned how to time himself, how to pace himself, work behind that jab, use his movement, use that jab to keep the range. Get him when you're ready to shoot your shots. When you're not ready to shoot, don't stand there. Remember how Lennox Lewis will break you down? So Lennox Lewis was knocking people out too. Well, Lennox Lewis learned, don't matter if I win by knockout or if I win by decision. Don't matter if it's an early knockout or late knockout. Then you would see Lennox Lewis get confident. He start dropping his hands, sticking his face out, and you knew he started getting real cocky. You know when Lennox Lewis was comfortable. You knew when he would get comfortable in the fight. Because he started doing all kinds of little weird stuff and then, little showing off stuff. And you knew, like, okay, he's comfortable now. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't take him to be the fastest guy on his feet or his hands. And, I mean, you got to look and think. The man is 6'6", and he's a big dude. I mean, you don't just naturally get faster. There's drills and things you can do to and I'm sure AJ does all that shit, man. But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he's as fast as he's gonna get. I don't see him getting any faster. And I mean, even to be lighter on his feet, we can't pinpoint and say that it's a guarantee that if he comes in lighter, he's just gonna be faster. Or if he comes in lighter, I think with certain fighters, you might need to come in lighter. Certain fighters, you might need to come in heavier. So we got to consider that. I mean, yeah, every fight is not the same, and after AJ lost that fight, I think AJ learned a lot of different things and started to look at things completely different. Not even completely different. Just understand that there's things. I'm pretty sure some things he looked at different. But overall, to understand, you know what? I need to improve myself the best ways I can improve myself. So maybe those things. Think about this, right? Even with him not looking as fast as you guys on his feet and with his hands, and then with the stamina thing, he got a knockout, knocked the man down 4 times. And the last time, that was a wrap. Even in the rounds where he took his foot off the gas a little bit and took a breather, he still won those rounds comfortably. There was not one close round. In the fight, I didn't see one round that you even look like you can give Pulev. So, I mean, I don't think those things are going to be an issue. And then if you look at the heavyweight landscape, I mean, the fastest guy there is Andy Ruiz. The best stamina is Joe Joyce. The best chin is probably Joe Joyce. You know, the best power, I would say that's between Deontay, right hand, Anthony Joshua, and Daniel Dubois. I think those guys in terms of power is those three guys right there is so all around boxing ability, I would have to say AJ and Fury. I mean, so the point what I'm saying, there's nobody in the heavyweight division that I see that they got something that AJ is not going to be able to handle. I mean, the same way he got to look out for his opponents, they got to look out for what he brings to the table. So I get what you guys are saying about, but I think look, it's everything. It's everything. Think about this. People said if Andy Ruiz would cut off the ring, he'd have beat AJ. But people stop to think Andy Ruiz don't know how to cut off a ring, and even if he did, AJ was different in that fight. So it looks easier. See, when we watch a fight, this is what we do. We watch a fight and we look at what each guy should be doing, and we start saying this guy should be doing this and this guy should be doing that. One of the differences is when you've been in the ring, you know what happens. A lot of shit from the outside looking in looks easier than what it actually is. I always tell people this too. When a guy's saying, you hear the commentators, fans who are going, oh, he should be doing this and this and this. I don't know why he's not doing it. You know why he's not doing it? Because he can't. Why? Because his opponent is not letting him do it. That's why. So even when you say a guy he should be coming and doing, he should be getting closer, right? But he's getting hit. He doesn't have an answer for that. You see, like those uppercuts. If I want to watch the fight again. I saw it live when it happened. I want to watch it again to see. Well, I want the full version of the fight. I want to see what the punch output was per round with these guys. Heavyweights are not known for throwing a lot of shots, man. I think the heavyweight average is like 35, 40 punches around or something like that, or 40. It's not a lot, man. Heavyweights don't throw a lot of shots. The majority of the shots that they throw is when they throw a lot, is like when they catch you and they think they got you hurt or something like that. But most heavyweights, nah. And the rounds are not balanced anyway. If you have one round where a guy, 1 or 2 rounds, he threw a whole lot, the rest of that shit, it drops off considerably. I didn't see AJ look like he was punched out. It looked like he took a little breather, a couple of rounds, to just pace himself, which is smart. It's what he's supposed to do. But as far as thinking he's just going to throw bombs all night long, look, remember when Dillian White said that about him the other day? That he don't know why he let him off the hook? Okay, if you watched the fight with Dillian White and Povetkin, did you see Dillian White throw bombs? Did he go balls to the wall and throw a whole lot of bombs? No, he didn't. No, he boxed. He paced himself. So, again, what you see, and then you imagine another fighter taking advantage of those things that you're looking at, but you got to understand, certain fights, people are going to do things in a different way. I don't think that AJ's in any danger of what we saw. Nothing that I saw make me feel like there's somebody out there that he's just not going to be able to handle. I don't know if AJ can get. I mean, look, hand speed is not something you don't just get fast all of a sudden, or just get faster all of a sudden. Like, your hand speed is what it is. I mean, you can throw your shots. There's different techniques and things you can work on. I mean, but as far as him getting faster and then faster on his feet, that's something you just got to have in your mind in the fight. That's what I'm saying. See, natural ability. You see how like Roy Jones does shit that trainers don't teach you to do the shit Roy Jones do. That's something that you just do, right? But other people will call it a mistake. He shouldn't do this. He shouldn't do that, because other fighters don't have his reflexes or that ability, right? Then it's like when he gets older and he can't do those same things. Well, any fighter, when you get older, you can't do the same things. It's just that when a fighter does things in a special way, people don't teach those things, so they consider it wrong instead of just different. unorthodox. They consider it wrong. You look at AJ. I've seen improvements in AJ. Like I said, he threw some quick shots in that fight. He got out the way of shots. There's a lot. He slipped a whole lot of big shots. You know, he just wasn't trying to move as much as he was in the last fight. There's no such thing as a perfect fight. There's no such thing as a perfect fighter. So, for everything that we look at any one fighter and say that they need to work on something, that's for any fighter. But for AJ, what I saw was a huge improvement. So, at the end of the day, it's like it's going to come down to the adjustments on a fight to fight basis. It's not going to be like every fight is different. You know, so I think the best way to gauge this, let's see what he looks like in his next fight, depending on who, you know, who, regardless to who it is. But let's see what, because the adjustments that you make, you know, he's not as fast as Andy Ruiz, but he's taller, he's longer, and he stayed behind that stick like he was supposed to. Jab right hand, jab right hand. You know, mix your shots up when you need to, but don't stand up there and try to fight for the fans. He did what he had to do. You know, and everybody's not going to be happy with your performance. Now, and I understand what you guys are saying. I do, but it's a fight by fight basis. I can't just say he needs to be faster on his feet and his hands. Need to be faster. And as far as the stamina is concerned, like I said, I don't know how much improvement he can make with his stamina. I don't know. I can't say that. I really don't know. If he does, what I'm saying, I don't know that it has anything to do with his weight. You know, how the hell is Joe Joyce 260 and do what he do? I'm 247. I do what I do. I wish I had videos to show you guys the stuff that I do. You be like, how the fuck do you do that, man? I don't, you know, like I said, like I showed you guys, man. Like, I don't know. I don't know what he's capable of doing. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know what his training regimen is. You know, the videos that they post, you see certain things, but I don't know. But I don't think AJ's in any danger with any of these fighters from what we saw. I don't think he has anything to worry about. I think what he has to do, if anything, is more keep your technique up, keep that stick out, keep controlling the fight with that jab. You get in when you're ready to punch. When you're not, you know what I'm saying? You keep yourself out of harm's way. You know, be tactical, be tricky. And, you know, I just think that is one of those things. Like, I think AJ will be okay. But I understand the concerns and I understand where y'all coming from. But it's easier for me to make a video to address that instead of just, because I had a lot to say. So trying to text all of this is like, nah, too much to say. But I get what you guys are saying, you know. And I agree that, yeah, but I mean, because it's just any fighter, I would always encourage you to do the best you can all the time to improve and get better. But I don't know how much better he can get with that. Fight to fight basis. That's really the best I can say with that, because every fight is going to be a different challenge, you know. You know, he didn't have to move as much against Pulev as he did with Andy Ruiz. Now, I don't know if you guys know, but he wants to fight Andy Ruiz again. He said he want to knock him out this time. So he's obviously seen some things that change in progression that make him feel comfortable that I've watched the fight, I've watched myself develop, I know I'm doing better than I was before. This time, I'm going to get the knockout, and if I don't, I'm going to punish him worse than I did last time. So, yeah, man, fight by fight basis. But look, I appreciate the love, I appreciate the comments, appreciate the conversations in the text. Salute the whole family. Look, never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.